In 1983, a guy named Kevin made a virtual world called the Tron system. A part of this system is called the grid. That's where any kind of experiment can be done way faster than in the real world. Kevin had somehow uploaded his own body into this world too. Now the story jumps to the year 2025. Now we see Julian, the owner of a company called Dillinger Systems. He had built a super soldier program on the grid. Its name is Ares. After years of training, Ares was now so powerful that he could fight a whole bunch of enemies at once. Julian considered Ares his company's ace in the hole. Now he set up a special presentation for the investors. Once all the investors had put on their safety glasses, a huge machine activated, which, with the help of several lasers, created a tank right in the middle of the room. This tank was loaded with modern weapons, absolutely ready to go into any kind of war. Julian told the investors that, "I built this tank inside the grid system and brought it into the real world using lasers. Now that it's made once, you can copy it as many times as you want. We can make a ton of these tanks in just a few minutes with this technology. We can defeat any army in the world." He also showed off his soldier, Ares, who came out from inside the tank. He explained that Ares is super powerful. We have total control over him, so he can't betray us. Even if Ares dies in a fight, it doesn't matter. We'll print another one in 2 minutes. Just then, there was the sound of thunder from outside, so Ares told everyone that it's going to rain soon. Hearing this, everyone laughed. The investors were super happy with Julian's presentation, and everyone agreed to work with him. After the investors left, Ares went outside and was amazed to see a firefly in the rain because he had never experienced any of this in the real world before. Then, suddenly, both Ares and the tank broke into pieces and vanished. And it turned out that this program could only last for 29 minutes in the real world. Julian's mother, Elizabeth, warned him that it won't be right to deceive the investors like this. Tell them that everything will disappear after 29 minutes. But Julian told his mum that, "I'll find the permanence code. Once I get the permanence code, his programs will be able to stay in the real world forever." But Elizabeth reminded him that you have to do something within 6 months, otherwise these investors will eat you alive. Kevin, the inventor of the Tron system, had hidden the permanence code somewhere so that no human could create dangerous things in the grid and bring them into the real world permanently, and no one knows where this code is. After this, we see a girl named Eve in Alaska who is Kevin's daughter. She arrived at a private station that Kevin himself had built. Later, her sister Tess used this place, but then she died of cancer. As soon as Eve turned on the computer, she got a message from Tess, which made her very emotional. After a while, her friend Seth also arrived there. Tess had spent her whole life looking for the permanence code, and now Eve and Seth were going to carry on her mission. For 4 days, living in the freezing cold, they sifted through a mountain of old data. Finally, they found a strange code in the shape of DNA. To test the code, they designed an orange tree inside the grid and then brought it into real life using lasers. They carefully started a stopwatch to see if the tree would still be there after 29 minutes. But nothing happened to that tree. Meanwhile, Ares woke up again in the grid, but this time he was really scared. Julian's words kept replaying in his mind, when he said that if Ares was destroyed, they would just make another one. His other commander, Athena, asked, "How was your trip to the other world?" Ares told her that the rain felt different. Athena couldn't understand what he was saying because they can't feel things. They aren't human. The next night, the ENCOM company held a big event for the launch of their latest game. Their chief technology officer, Ajay, was really stressed out, and on top of that, the media was spreading news all over the city about his disappearance from the event. In the meantime, Elizabeth found out that Julian was going to hack ENCOM because he knew that Eve was also after the permanence code. Elizabeth said, "This is too risky, don't do it." But Julian ignored his mother and sent his army to steal Eve's user files. Soon, Ares, Athena, and a few other soldiers broke into ENCOM's server inside the grid. They used a special weapon to blast a hole in the building's wall so they could get in. Just then, a guard in the real world got an alert message. Julian's team easily took down the digital guards, and Ares reached the information block from where Julian got all the info on ENCOM's entire system. But by then, the security programs had activated. Ares noticed an interview playing on a video in which Eve had a very good perspective on the relationship between programs designed inside the grid and humanity. Her words weren't like Julian's, saying, "If they die, we'll just make them again." But then Ares remembered his mission again and quickly started collecting the files. But as the team tried to exit, ENCOM's security arrived to stop them, and a massive fight broke out. ENCOM had a lot of soldiers. But Ares and his team were ready to wipe out any army. They easily defeated the guards and started to leave, but Ares stayed behind when he found out that one of his teammates was still fighting. Turns out he was injured. Athena said he'll come back to life, it doesn't matter, but Ares went to save him. He fiercely avoided the guards' attacks, took them down and rescued his teammate. Julian started getting frustrated that his soldiers were taking so long, and his server was also under a lot of load, so he deliberately detonated his program. Because of this, along with his soldiers, ENCOM's entire server was blown up, and Ajay's presentation was ruined and the game launch had to be cancelled. Sometime later, Ares woke up in his room and saw that the teammate who was injured hadn't returned. He asked Julian about it, and Julian said that anyone who fails will be deleted. Hearing this, Ares was shaken up inside. Now Julian gave him a new mission. He has to find Eve no matter what. After this, Julian got a call from Ajay. Ajay was furious. He threatened Julian, "What if I tell your investors about the 29-minute limit?" But Julian just mocked him back. "Where is your boss, Eve, you dog who barks at her command?" Enraged by this, Ajay hung up the phone. A few days later, Eve and Seth left Alaska, taking the oranges they had brought from the grid with them. As soon as their phones got a signal, Ajay immediately called Eve and furiously told her everything that had happened. Eve calmed him down and told him, "I found the code." Meanwhile, Ares started looking through all of Eve's files, and seeing them, he learned more about humans and life. He now began to understand feelings like joy and sorrow. On the other side, Julian found out Eve's location in the real world, so he immediately brought Ares and Athena out of the grid and into the real world with some bikes, and gave them the mission to find Eve within 29 minutes. On the other side, Eve left a private airport on a bike. Julian got her location from the cameras on the road, and Ares and Athena immediately started chasing her. As soon as Eve realized someone was following her, she sped up, which also caught the attention of the police. When the police started chasing Eve, Ares used a laser beam from his bike to cut the police car in half. Eve increased her speed even more, but Athena got very close to her. But Eve suddenly swerved her bike and got onto a different highway. Then a bus suddenly stopped, blocking the entire road, and Ares was left behind right there. But Athena continued the chase, and while chasing Eve, she reached a parking garage. Eve hid behind some cars, and just as Athena came up the ramp, Eve threw her bike at her, knocking her down. Just then, Ares got an alert that Athena had been attacked. He quickly sped his bike towards that location. Meanwhile, Athena quickly recovered and started climbing the ramp. But Eve stole her bike and immediately took off from there. As she hit the road, Ares also arrived, and he started chasing her again. He used a laser beam to try and stop Eve, but Eve somehow managed to escape. Although, in this chase, several cars got into accidents. Ares was chasing Eve at full speed, but suddenly, a car appeared right in front of him. There was a child inside the car, and Ares stopped when he saw him. This gave Eve a chance to get ahead. Julian was watching this whole incident on his screen and, angry at the failure of his soldiers, he sent some of his own men after Eve. After trying many buttons, Eve activated a laser beam on her bike. But Ares easily dodged the laser beam. He rode his bike even faster and got right next to Eve. Eve was now trying her best to escape and run away, but because of both of their laser beams, a lot of accidents kept happening. During this, due to a slight imbalance, both their bikes collided, after which Eve was tossed up and landed in a garbage bin. Luckily, she wasn't seriously hurt and immediately started running for her life. Ares also started chasing her on foot. They both ran until they reached the seashore, where Eve felt like she was caught now. So she broke the drive that had the permanence code inside and threw it into the water. Now Ares was about to reach her, but suddenly his body felt weak. His 29 minutes were almost up. Now Eve finally understood that Ares was a program. Then suddenly, Ares and Athena both went back into the digital world. Just then, a helicopter arrived, and Julian's man used a special kind of gun to capture Eve and send her into the grid. They caught Eve, but the destruction that happened today was all over the news, and Elizabeth started saying that Julian is crossing the line. Julian replied, "The world will forgive me, just once I get my hands on that permanence code." Inside the grid, Ares and Athena complete Eve's digitalization process, and finally, they activated her by giving her an identity disk. They knew that the permanence code was now hidden inside Eve because Eve had seen it once, but a little investigation revealed that forcing the code out would kill Eve. Athena didn't care about this. But Ares stopped the soldiers and told Julian about his concern. To this, Julian said, "Your job is to do what I tell you without any complaint, okay? I need that code no matter what, regardless of what happens to Eve." Even after hearing all this, Ares went into the room and lied to Athena that Julian is busy with something right now, so we have to wait until new orders arrive. Saying this, Ares sent everyone away from there, but Athena immediately contacted Julian and told him that something is wrong with Ares. He's talking nonsense. To this, Julian ordered her to get the code and kill both Ares and Eve. During this, Ares asks Eve who she should trust. Eve said, "Never trust Julian because he is an utterly selfish man. He only thinks about himself. He doesn't care if anyone lives or dies." Just then, Athena came back with her 2 soldiers and got ready to attack. But Ares then used his disc to strike the floor, creating a hole. Because of this, he and Eve both started falling down, out of the grid. As they fell, they crashed into several lights and finally landed in the water. Ares swam towards Eve to grab her, and then, turning on a device, they sped away on a bike. Athena understood where they must have gone, and immediately sent her drones after them. Passing through the grid, Eve was amazed to see all sorts of lights and coding. Ares explained that a transfer portal is a bit further ahead. You can go back to the real world from there. But he would only help if Eve gave him the permanence code too. He promised that, "I won't help Julian. I want that code for myself." Soon, the drones caught up to them and activated their laser beams. Just then, Ares created a protective shield around the bike, and with a huge jump, Ares left the drones behind. Eve also finally agreed to his condition, "I'll give you the code." When the drones got close again, Ares used his disc to destroy a cave, and there was a huge explosion. But Ares drove quickly, escaping the falling debris, and both jumped into the portal just in time. Now at the Dillinger office, the laser device recreated Ares and Eve in the real world. Julian sent his men to quickly catch these two, but Ares killed everyone in just a few seconds. Ignoring Julian's screams, they both stole a van and crashed through the gates, escaping from there. Burning with anger, Julian also brought Athena into the real world and told her, "You are the commander now instead of Ares." He gave Athena the mission to get me that code at any cost, even if you have to do anything for it. She was also given a glider and a digital gun, so she could catch Ares and Eve. As Athena left, Elizabeth slapped Julian hard. "What are you doing?" On the road, Eve told Ares that she had found the code in Kevin's old files, which means there might be a copy of the code in Kevin's old system too. But Ares calculated that we won't be able to reach the ENCOM office in 29 minutes in this old van. So they stopped at a gas station, and Eve showed the clerk her face in a photo magazine saying, "Look, I'm famous. Lend me your phone once, I'll give you a lot of money later." She called Seth and told him to wait for her inside the office with a digitizing gun. They also took the clerk's fast-moving car. Their car was seen on the gas station's security cameras, from which Athena tracked down their location. Ares started driving the car really fast, but due to his amazing reflexes, he easily weaved past all the other cars. During the journey, he told Eve that, "I know almost everything about you because I've read all your files, even the messages you sent your family." Eve told him that love and sorrow are part of human life. Ares also understood that Eve wanted to continue her sister's work so she could stay connected to her. Arriving outside the ENCOM office, Ares quickly crashed the car while trying to park it. They both met Seth and rushed towards the museum floor, where Kevin's old system was on exhibition. As soon as Eve got the code, Seth started assembling the digitizing gun. But before they could give the code to Ares, Athena arrived there. She didn't attack immediately, and Ares understood that she was just waiting for his 29 minutes to end. Ares said, "We need to change the plan a little. You two won't be able to fight her without me." He jumped out the window to fight Athena. But Eve didn't want Ares to die. She activated the gun and sent Ares into Kevin's grid. Now Athena broke the window and rushed inside. She saw that Ares had been sent into the grid, so she cut the gun in half too so he couldn't come back. Seth tried to attack her, but Athena punched him, throwing him far away. Seth crashed into an arcade machine and passed out. Eve tried to run away, and Athena was chasing her, destroying every machine in her path. Finally, Athena cornered Eve, but then water started falling from the ceiling. The sensation of water on her body completely confused her. Because of this confusion, her time ran out, and she went back into the grid. But Julian was shocked to find out that Athena had sent herself back into the real world using lasers. He started shouting at her, "Stop, I called you!" Then Elizabeth came to him, telling him that the board has removed you, you've been fired from the company, the control of the entire company is now with me. Her first decision was to shut down this project, but Athena, without wasting a moment, killed Elizabeth with her disc. Julian was shattered seeing this. But Athena reminded him that, you're the one who said you wanted that code no matter what, so I'm just completing my mission. Now Athena had summoned her 2 soldiers and a very powerful vehicle into the real world. Taking them along, she continued her mission. As she left, Julian ran to the computer and tried to override the system, but Athena had taken over the entire system. Meanwhile, at the ENCOM office, Ajay was shocked to see the destruction. Eve told him the whole truth and said, "Fix this gun quickly. This is our last chance." Just then, they saw Athena approaching from a distance, and Eve realized that as long as Dillinger Systems servers were running, Athena would keep coming back. She told Ajay to hack Dillinger Systems servers using the gun Athena had dropped and shut down their grid. People on the street got scared seeing Athena. A police helicopter came to stop her, but Athena used dangerous lasers to blow it up in the air. Within moments, the army sent their fighter jets, but they were also shot down in seconds. Eve was running on the street, so Athena sent a lot of tracking missiles towards her. Poor Eve dodged some of the missiles. But then some drones surrounded her and created a circle of light that she couldn't get out of. Just then, a fighter jet crashed into the engine of Athena's vehicle, causing her to lose control, and it crashed into several buildings as it fell. Meanwhile, in Kevin's grid, Ares met a reflection of Kevin himself, who was a copy of Kevin, the man who created this whole system. Ares said, "If you are Kevin, you must have the permanence code too. Look, I don't just want that code for myself. I want to live so I can save Eve. She is your granddaughter." Kevin liked what Ares said, so he gave him the permanence code and put it on Ares's disc. Ares now used his disc to step into a beam of light that took him to Kevin's old basement. In the city, Athena was now sitting in her tank, and she quickly went and caught Eve. She only had a few minutes left before she had to go back. So Athena crushed all the cars that came in her way. Suddenly, Ares appeared in the middle of the road, and new colors shone on his suit, indicating that he was now completely free. Ares threw his disc at the tank, which caused the tank to lose control and crash, shattering into pieces. Now Ares ran to Eve and saw that she was okay. Meanwhile, Athena came back again with the soldier programs, and all 3 started attacking Ares. This fight was very difficult because they were all as powerful as Ares, but Ares knocked down both soldiers. However, in the process, his disc fell. Now after fighting those 2, he was quite weak, and Athena started overpowering him. Just as she was about to kill Ares, Eve threw the disc towards him at the last moment. As soon as Ares used the disc to block the attack, Athena's weapon broke in half. Then Ares and Athena started fighting again, and this time Ares started to gain the upper hand. He cut off Athena's hand and was about to finish her off. But just then, Ajay hacked Dillinger Systems and blew up their grid. After that, Dillinger Systems missiles started falling from the sky in the city, and Ares held onto Athena until she crumbled into dust. After this, Ares told Eve that the grid system needs you, and then he vanished before the police could arrive. Later, the media covered this incident and several lawsuits were filed against Dillinger Systems. The police arrived at Julian's office to arrest him, but in the meantime, Julian sent himself into the grid to escape arrest. A few weeks pass, and now Eve is using the permanence code to help the world. Just by pressing a button, food and medicine started appearing in the real world. Then one day, she received a postcard from Ares. He was traveling all over the world to understand humanity. If you liked the video, give it a like and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.